think we'll light a candle to enter sacred space today. And today I want to begin by doing a short reading from this little book that I have been reading for so many years that it's just absolutely tattered. It's called Pocketful of Miracles by Joan Borisenko. And I never get tired of reading this book. It always seems fresh, even though I've read it so many times. And the reading that I'm going to do today is about meditating outside in nature. And I think that that in these days, in these strange times that we're living in right now during the pandemic, that many of us are looking for connection. And I think that meditating outside is a way to find those connections that we're looking for. So today, Joan's reading says, nature is a sacred place that has the power to draw us out of our small mind into the big mind of God. During warm weather, praying and meditating outside in nature can naturally enhance your practice. You can pray anywhere, even on the subway, but whenever you find yourself in a place that feels sacred, you have already made the connection with God. Why not deepen the connections that are spontaneously presented by the beauty of long summer days and the balmy fragrance of moonlit nights? So I'd like to follow that reading up with a practice that I've become familiar with called the sit spot practice. And it was developed by a woman named, I'm blanking on her name. I'm going to think of it here in a minute. I'm going to come up with it and I'll give it to you. But it's a great practice and I've used it for years. And it's called the sit spot practice. And what it amounts to is going out in nature and finding a spot that is comfortable for you. And it can be close to your home, or it can where you can walk to it, or it could be somewhere where you have to drive to. But it's a place that feels comfortable to you, and you go to that place as often as once a day, or as few times as 2 or 3 times a week. But you go to it regularly. And it's a place in nature, and when you get there, you open up to all your senses. And you might want to take a journal with you, or you might want to take some art supplies with you. And you get to that place, and you settle in, and you might want to stay there for as much as 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time. And so you open up your senses one by one, and you settle in, and you think to yourself, what do I see? And so you might look around, and you might see a squirrel running around in circles. You might see a tree off in the distance. Or you might look up and see a beautiful sun in the sky, or clouds floating by. What do I see? And the next question you would ask yourself is, what do I hear? And so depending on what part of the city or country you are in, you could hear a car driving by, or a lawnmower. You could hear birds chirping. You could hear other animals chittering. What do I hear? And so the next question you would ask yourself is, what do I feel? And so if you were sitting on the ground, you might feel Mother Earth underneath you. If you're sitting against a tree, you might feel the bark of the tree against your back. You might feel the soft breeze blowing against your cheek. what do I feel? And the next question you might ask yourself is, what do I smell? And so you might smell the sweet fragrance of Mother Earth. Or you might smell fresh cut grass. What do I smell? So depending on when you go to your sit spot, you might notice very different things during the time of day that you're there. You might notice a sunrise, or you might notice a moonrise, or you might notice a sunset. So all these different things are lovely things that you can take note of depending on when you go to your sit spot, and you can vary it. And I said earlier that you might want to take art supplies, and these are things that you can draw if you feel like you're an artist, or if you're not an artist, you can still draw. So whatever you do, whenever you go to your sit spot, you can be in touch with nature. You can deepen your response to nature. You can become aware of your inner and your outer landscape. And during these times when we might feel cut off from our friends and our family, other than on Zoom calls, this is a time to really get in touch with nature and find our home in nature. And I'd like to tell you that for many, many years, my sit spot was right in my backyard on our patio. And for years and years, I sat in the same spot on our patio in our big backyard. And one morning I opened up my eyes, and we have all these trees in the back of our yard, and I noticed a portal right in the midst of these trees that I had never noticed before. And I thought, is that where all these messages have been coming from that I've been getting every day, right through that portal that I had never noticed? Everything that's been coming through me, to me through nature, right through that portal. And so you never know where your messages are going to come from when you ask, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I smell? When you open up your senses to nature, you never know what's the answers are going to be. So I encourage you to find a sit spot and go to it as often as you can.